What would you like to see happen to the injunction here in Hawaiian Gardens?
I would like to see it lifted. I think our kids have no future here because as soon as you get big enough, they automatically make you a gang member.
But first, I'd just like to offer some facts about what a gang is and what gangs are all about. Because when we hear the G word, gang, we tend to think criminal, terrorists, bad people right off the bat. And every gang across this county has its collection of individuals. Some are on the far extreme of criminal behavior, and some of them are just average kids who grew up with them, who hang out with them, and who don't get arrested, who don't have criminal records, but because they went to grammar school together, they went to kindergarten together, their families know each other. It's not uncommon in a gang neighborhood for a killer to be friends with a non-killer. The best way that I would describe a gang injunction is it treats individuals as if they were on parole without ever having to have committed a crime. So just if you know anyone who's been to prison who's on parole, they can get searched anytime the police feels like it. They can search their cars, they can stop them, they can take their pictures, they can tell them to disrobe their shirts, they can take pictures of their tattoos. And because they've been convicted in a state court, they lose certain rights, and because you're on parole, they're allowed to do that. That's exactly what a gang injunction does to individuals in the community, and these people have not been to jail, have not been arrested, and they don't have to commit any type of crime to be treated as if they're on parole. I also think that gang injunctions can actually push youth who are on the kind of borderline, trying to change their life and do better, and being pushed by others that are not doing so good. And I've seen many instances where guys are actually part of the gang, never been to jail, never been arrested, and guess what their first arrest is?
Riding a bike.
Violation of a gang injunction order is their first arrest ever. So guess what? The injunction now created a criminal record for an individual. Yet anyone that law enforcement says is a friend of the Hawaiian Gardens neighborhood can be named in the injunction. It doesn't matter where you live, as long as they feel that you're part of the neighborhood. I've even seen people who aren't part of the neighborhood be served the injunction only because maybe they were there one day. One cop said, I seen him there the other day. He told another cop he saw him. That cop told another cop. So now 3 cops now say that we saw him there and he gets served. So you can be part of an injunction no matter where you live. It just takes the eyeballing of a police officer. Here's an interesting thing. There have been gang injunctions going on in all these neighborhoods for 20 years, and there have been indictments against these same gangs years later. So it just lets you know that the gang injunction's not really doing anything. But the indictment against Hawaiian Gardens has really nothing to do with the injunction because that comes from the federal government. That's the FBI that is indicting the 100 or so members that they indicted. The injunction is done by the district attorney's office, which is at the county level, and it is really a civil order. It's a restraining order. It's sort of the way you would have a restraining order against someone who's following you, or if you're involved in a very abusive relationship, you put a restraining order against that person. But what the district attorney's doing is putting a restraining order against the gang, but only within this neighborhood, this boundary, the safety zone that's in that map. So, but the indictments are completely separate.
I think it's a violation of the civil rights. It's a form of oppression. It is an attack on low-income people, on people that don't know their rights, and it's just a way to I think it's politics.
Do you think that anything good is going to come out of this injunction?
No, because I spoke to the sheriff and I said, you know what, you can't get rid of gangs. There will always be gangs. He said, well, this injunction is not about gangs. He goes, it's not about being a gang member. It's when the gangs commit crimes to benefit the gangs. I said, you know what, the gang members that I grew up in this town with, they're not out there committing crimes to start this big old giant like corporation, you know, some kind of money-making business. They're just out there doing crimes to help themselves. They happen to be on drugs or they happen to be poor. Or if they happen to be criminals, they can't get a job.
You think that shooting of Deputy Ortiz kind of changed a lot of stuff?
Yes, the guy who shot him owes me $20. He's ignorant, uneducated, wife beater, drug addict, brain damaged, idiot. And he doesn't speak for everybody else in Hawaiian Gardens that happened to be a gang member at the time or is now or will be in the future. Okay, he's just one idiot out of thousands of people in this world or in this area or Southern California that happen to be gang members.
So what do you want to see happen with the injunction?
I want it to go away. If it has to go all the way to the United States Supreme Court, I wish it would. It's a violation of your constitutional rights. It's, like I said, it's a form of oppression. It's caging people like if we were slaves. I'm half black. My ancestors were free. It's not right. You know, you're told to be in a certain area. You tell a grown person to be in their homes by 10 o'clock. You tell them they can't stand in their own doorway or else they're going to get put in jail. You tell a man he can't be on a bike when our city gets federal dollars for a Bike for Life program. It's ridiculous.